why the do I keep on going up, down, up, down, up, down? I met a billionaire. And the billionaire said to me, he goes, Chris, you cannot plant seeds of scarcity and grow an abundance forest. You cannot be in that same structure. And he goes, there's 3 keys you must know. Number 1, you must integrate your dark side, your shadow. Number 2, you must understand how to let go of your past. And then number 3, you must learn how to be intuitive. You're planting seeds of doubt and scarcity and not being it. He said, you need to learn how to be super conscious. And I was like, super what? The problem is, if you actually to solve it, then you don't know who you are anymore. So we have identity sees a worldview. Worldview is that there's not enough money here, so I'm going to solve it. But if I was to actually solve it, well, then now I no longer know who I am, because who I am is someone solving this problem. And so we get caught in a loop, is that if I solve the problem, I lose myself, which is the scariest thing. So if I actually solve the problem, I now do not know who I am.
Is that why one of the reasons is when I get to that number, 10 million, then I kind of find ways to self-sabotage it?
Because you wouldn't know who you are once that game's finished.
So should I just increase the number to like 50?
Oh, you will, so you'll get to 50, but you'll do the same thing. And so most achievers, all they do is they move the number bigger, which just means they last for longer, and then they keep on falling. What you have to do is return to before you made this decision and give it up. You're much bigger than 10 million.
Yeah.
This is like, who gives a fuck? 10 million, bits of paper that other humans trade.
Yeah.
But at some point you decided it. And so we can find it within seconds. So if I ask you, so what you want is 10 mil, and so you have a million passive, right? That's what you want. And so then, well, what stops you having that? And then you look every time you look. And so the look, whenever I know, so every time you move your eyes to the right, what you're doing is you're coding up. What I can tell you is there's a coded up feeling. Yeah, it's that. So what is that? When you put your eyes there, what's that feeling?
I guess security.
Yeah.
Like I feel like $1 million a year is security.
Yeah. And so if you were to ask us a really random question, how old is the youngest you that ever felt that feeling?
Probably like 15, 16.
Yeah.
15, 16, when I found out my dad, mashallah, basically, he hit his goals, his financial goals.
Yeah. So you're just playing out dad's game. And so you're never going to have it until you don't need to have it. And so anyway, so I first learned this, man, in 2016, where I was going in the crazy oscillation pattern. I built a solar panel company, made tens of millions of dollars, lost it all, built my next company up to $4.5 million, was on the next trajectory, get in a movie with Tony Robbins, the Dalai Lama, like absolutely going for it, falls apart. Start another business, we do $2 million in our first year, crushing it, falls apart. And I just sit there going, why the do I keep on going up, down, up, down, up, down? I met a billionaire. And the billionaire said to me, he goes, Chris, you cannot plant seeds of scarcity and grow an abundance forest. You cannot be in that same structure. And he goes, there's 3 keys you must know. Number 1, you must integrate your dark side, your shadow. We have a shadow. Yeah. And we must not hide from it. Number 2 is that you must understand how to let go of your past. So you must understand how to completely let it go. So that's what I learned how to do, is to teach the brain to recode itself. And then number 3, you must learn how to be intuitive. And so, I found he introduced me to a bunch of people, and I learned some great stuff, and then everything changed. We went $1 million a week, $1 million, sort of grew the business, sold the business, and then started teaching this to billionaires, literally.
Yeah.
And so that's what we do, man. And it's really interesting stuff, is to ask yourself this. So if you think about that dilemma, right? The dilemma of hitting 6 to 8 and then fucking it up somehow, right?
Yeah. So that's why I found every time I've hit that number, like 6 to 8, and I'm like, I'm getting to that 10 million liquid.
Yeah.
It's just...
So here's what you need to do, right? So we've got a process. We have 22 different ways we work in this structure. So just imagine that you're going to hit the 10 million liquid. What's next? Just ask yourself, well, what comes next?
What comes next?
What comes next? So let's say you're going to hit the 10 and you have the 1. Well, what's life about next?
I'll start something else.
Yeah, so you don't know, right?
No, I don't know.
And so that non-clarity to the unconscious mind means death. It's like, I don't know what's next. And so if you can set yourself up and have your consciousness understand, well, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And so I had this challenge, and so I was all about the money. And then what happened was, as soon as I get enough money for me and my family and everyone else, then I would lose it and then go build it up again. And then lose it, then build it up again. And it was a game. And my consciousness was just in this game of, look how good I am. Well, now I can play this game again. And that's the game.
And I have that. I have that self-identity, right? Like that. Like if it's under multiple millions, I'm like in work mode. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I quickly get back up because I can, I understand marketing and sales. So I'm like, I'll put together a campaign and build it back up.
But you're supposed to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
And then so you're playing this little game, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the pursuit of these small goals that are keeping you from your truth, which is way up here. And it's like your identity, right? Your identity is this guy, and you're safe here. You know what to do here. You're funnels.com guy. You know how to do it. You put it together. It's all good. And you play it, and you play the game, and you know what to say. You know what to do. You can put it together, but it's not your next thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you got to give up that identity. The identity that got you here, you got to give it up. And you need to re-identify at that next place and go for it.
What really does scare me, I will tell you this. And you know what? We never even did a proper introduction because
well, we were just chatting.
This was like fix Shaq's issues, So
just chatting.
Chris, actually, just like introduce yourself. The way I know of you is, you created some really crazy viral ads, but it wasn't even like, hey everyone, I'm going to change your life. It was like, hey, I've got 2 people on stage in front of a bunch of other people, and you did some crazy stuff with them. So actually, just share some backstory of, how you got in, and I even mentioned his full name, Chris Duncan, everyone.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. It's so cool to meet you in person as well. Like, it's good. You have good energy. For me, the whole journey started with Tony Robbins. And I'm from New Zealand, which is basically the asshole of the earth, I love New Zealand, but it's the bottom of the earth. There's nothing there, And so I'm there just ambitious, wanting to be successful. And I didn't know where to go, there was nothing. So I went and saw Tony. And from there I started a water filter company and started marketing companies. And I had this one idea that if I could just make enough money, I would have the life I wanted, and I'll figure the rest out later. And, like you and many others, I'd make millions and somehow lose it. And then make millions and then lose it, and make millions and then lose it. And in 2016, this kind of all came to a big head. And I just had another big loss. And I sat down with a billionaire. And I tried to have him invest in my next thing that I wanted to do. And he looked me straight in the eyes and he just goes, Chris, I love your idea, but I'm not investing in it because of you. And I was like, what? He's like, you are addicted to personal development and self-help and therapy. He said, because what I thought, right? I thought, so I learned from Tony and these other guys. I thought, change my mind, change my life. And so I was just obsessed with it. I went to every course you could go to, just that was my focus. And he said, I don't know who you're going to be in a month or 2 months. You're planting seeds of doubt and scarcity and not being it. He said, you need to learn how to be super conscious. And I was like, super what? And I don't know about you, but if I'm sitting with a self-made billionaire and he tells me I need to do something, he tells me some really hard truths, I'm all in. So I said, so what is that? He said, you need to be it before you see it. He said, the reason why you don't have it is your identity is somebody other not it. He said, your identity is of somebody chasing. He said, a chasing person can never have it. You're always a chaser. He says, you need to learn how to recode and let go of who you've been and create who you're becoming. I was like, well, how do I do that? And he introduced me to 3 people. I combined their work, applied it to my business, and everything took off. Millions of dollars a month,
Yeah.
And then I started teaching this work to we just got some people coming in behind us.
Mike, take a clip of that.
And I started teaching this work to my team and my staff. The business took off. And then in 2019, as you said, I released this video of me just doing the process on people in front of an audience. It was really, really, really ballsy.
Yeah.
So what I did is I put a seminar together, and I said, look, I'm going to show you this amazing process, changed my life. I don't know how it's going to work. It's called the SUPERCONSCIOUS recode. Come on down. About 50 odd people showed up, and we filmed it. And I was explaining it to them, and I just got this intuition. I was like, they're not getting it. I said, so who's got a fear of public speaking? And I was like, a couple people with their hand up. I was like, but who actually has a fear and really wants to deal with it? And these 2 women, I invited them on stage, and they are terrified. You see in the video, they've got tears in their eyes. Like they're struggling to be just sitting there. As I asked them, they can't say anything. And I've now done this demonstration with, I don't know, hundreds of people in front of audiences. We've recorded it all. It's all on YouTube. And so I do the process, and the first lady opens her eyes, and she has this huge smile on her face. I go like, what is it? She's like, it's gone. I said, what do you mean it's gone? She grabs the microphone. She goes, I can't believe this, but it's the first time I'm in front of an audience.
Wow.
And she's speaking so confident. And the whole audience is sitting there going, what just happened?
Bro, I just got chills just here.
And then the other lady, a minute later, you see it in the video, the other lady, and she opens her eyes. She goes, what the, and she swears, and I cut that out of the video. She goes, what the fuck just happened? And I was like, well, welcome to Recode. Welcome to your truth. That you're not this fixed thing. You're not a fixed point of information. We're creative consciousness that comes into a fixed experience, but we can return to creative consciousness and rechange how we are.
Wow.
And so I didn't think much of it. I was like, this is incredible. Everyone claps me. And then people say, well, you know, how do we all get one? So I just made up an offer. I said, it's called Magnetic Mind, and it's $50 a week, and I'll give you a session a week. And they signed up, man. And then this business now does to over $20 million a year. You know, like, that's the story, dude.
Amazing.
Sold the other companies, and now just are completely focused on helping leaders and business owners become who they're supposed to be by letting go of the identity that's stopping them. And it's the one thing, you know, we're in this conference, 5,000 people here, and I tell you, they get all the information, all the tactics, all the strategies, all the motivation, but they've still got this identity that they're holding on to that thinks $1 million is big, or 100 grand is big, or being rejected in front of others is bad. And that's the thing, that as soon as they get to a place, that's just going to cut in and stop them. And they don't know it yet, but you and I force ourselves, we've done it, we force through, and then they'll hit the same point and they'll fall off. And if they've done it a few times, they'll listen to this guy, I know, I need that. And I guarantee, you come to a session like, that's what I say, like, if you just do a session, you'll get it. I don't need to like tell you how it is, just come do one. And it blows me away. We had one lady, man, it's crazy. She come in, the business was completely, you know, struggling, $2 million a year, but, you know, like top line, not making much money. Within 6 months, she sold it for $100 million.
Wow.
Same business. And she's giving me video testimony about the whole thing. Another lady, she started a space school. She'd never had a business before, envisions a space school, we recoded it. But the craziest one is, and most people don't believe me, so you have to watch the video of his testimonial. A gentleman came to me and he was blind. And we did the work, and now he sees again. Wow. And you see him with the black dye, and he was blind for 20 years. And he also lost 75 pounds as well. And this was the beginning, and I just went, wow, what is this? And now, you know, we've got the best-selling book, You're Not Broken, which nearly sold 1 million copies, New York Times bestseller. We've got thousands of people every single week that I do the process with. And the testimonials are ridiculous, from cancers disappearing and tumors, it's diabetes gone, like, it's just blowing me away, because what I've realized is the one thing that stops everyone isn't information, it's their identity. Their identity is just hooked into the past, and they can't escape. And so my mission is to show as many people their true power, you know?
What does scare me, when I saw him talk about 100 million a year, I was like, oh man, I have to be a legit business owner helping a lot of people to get to 100 million a year. And immediately my brain was like, I'm cool with 10 to 20 million a year. But if he's giving the blueprint, like he's like, he built his business to 100 million a year, now he's doing it again, and you guys get to see, right? He's doing it in the personal development space. And in my mind, I'm like, you know, I really want that, but do I really want it? I have to help a lot of people.
The first way the unconscious tells us, the first story that always happens, that we know it's a complete resistance, complete unconscious pattern, is a goal that someone's had for a long time. They start pretending they don't want it anymore. It's a number one reason. So people say, oh, you know, they've always wanted to have a healthy body, and then they say to me, no, I don't know if I really want it. That is the first sign of defense to the unconscious first sign. You might think, well, why is my unconscious defending the result? And the reason why it's defending it is we have these two minds, right? Unconscious mind and we have conscious mind. The unconscious wants safety. So it just wants you to do the same thing you've always done, because it knows it can survive it. So it knows it can survive thinking it's not got enough money and trying to make money. So it codes it up as survivable. Doing this next thing, it's not experienced it, so it thinks it's fear, it puts in fear. The way that it shows fear to you is tells you a story that you don't want it. And so what we must do is we must update the consciousness to, you know, 100 million, 1 billion, and that's completely fine.
Update the conscious.
Yeah. Huh?
Update the conscious.
Update, yeah. Update. And the way that we update is we have a process, we go back. So measure this. So that same dilemma, right, about the 100 million. Just do this, close your eyes and just imagine that you have no past. Like just imagine that you have no past, like you're present. Like just make it up that you have no past. You can do it, right? Like I have no past. Imagine you have no past. And when you can really just imagine you have no past, notice how you are about the 100 million goal now. Yeah, come back. In your eyes, right?
Yeah, it feels flowy and easy.
It's easy. The only reason it's not easy is because there's something of your past informing you how it should be. But the thing is because you've got the past informing you how you should be, you don't even actually know how it is.
Yeah.
It's just this thing you've made up. And so we're just completely taking it. So that you know the word present for present moment, right? Present. You break it in half, it says for present. Every moment is actually present. We pre-send it. And that's where it's like, because it's pre-sent from the past, right? So you step into a pre-sent moment. And dude, this is the one thing I talk to people about. It's like all the information's there, all the coaches are there, all the trainings are there, everything's there. The only difference is identity. The only difference is that we've got a piece of code in our consciousness that's just got us identifying with a certain worldview that we know we can't lose in, that, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Because there's more than enough information that we know we can go talk to people. You're in rooms with people doing it. You know you could upgrade and spend the next money to get to the next call.
Yeah.
You know it's all there. The only reason you're not doing it is identity.
Yeah. Some of the identity which I have always had, or I guess I built, is like, my time is worth a certain hour, right? So that's why I carry a large chunk of cash, all the time, right? Different currencies, whatever. Like whether it's $1,000 or $5,000, always in my pocket. Right. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I always carry a large. So every time I put my hand in my pocket, I say, Alhamdulillah, like I have plenty of money.
Yeah.
So
at some point, you're going to need to leave the safe harbor that money was your safety. It was never your safety. It was always your skills.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even now, like if I lost everything, what do I rely on?
Your skills.
My skills.
And so you just got to ditch this old identity. And here's the thing.
Ditch the old identity to create a new one.
Here's the thing, is I ask everyone this. It's like, are you willing to let go of who you've been in service of who you're meant to be? Are you willing to let go of the ego that you created in order to really serve your highest purpose? You're willing to let go of funnels.com guy and you let go of that and risk going for the bigger goal or play the safe game.
Yeah.
And this one to me is like, I got this calling for superconscious, right? And superconscious followed me around. Superconscious is billionaire towards me. And I had to leave digital marketing school. I had to leave it. I had to give it to Scott. I had to leave it. But digital marketing school was safe. I could do 10 million a year. I could do this.
How did that feel?
Yeah, I felt terrible. It felt terrible. It felt scary. But I had to leave it because I know my bigger calling is what I'm doing with the superconscious work. And as soon as I put it out there in 2019, put a video out there, talked about this identity, brought 2 women out on stage, demonstrated the recode process, had them go from terrified to completely confident in minutes by letting go of their past. This lady taught it to me. She spent 20 years, psychiatrist, learning how to teach the brain to heal itself. And I put that video out, and I thought nothing was going to happen. Nothing happened for the first month. It was September I put it out. Nothing happened for the next month, October, nothing happened. And then in November, I got this intuition. So I should just put this ad to the United States. So I changed on YouTube. I put the ad to the United States. I checked my bank account the next day and I made $5,000. And so I put that $5,000 back into the ads. I'm a marketer, as you do. Next day I made $7,000. Put the $7,000. By the end of that month, I made $350,000 selling a $49 intro session.
Wow.
To it. So I doubled down, put it in. And then over the next 4 years, 2023 right now, over the next 4 years, we haven't had a week where we haven't earned less than $200,000.
Wow.
And it's just off this one video. And so it took over everything else. For the last year and a half, I've been playing golf while Scott ran my company.
Yeah.
And it's all off this one thing. And it wasn't until I was willing to completely let go. I went completely into super conscious work. All my buddies thought I was crazy. I'm supposed to be some entrepreneur doing, solar panels. I had a water filter company, a solar panel company, a digital marketing company, and then a super conscious education. Like, what the, And I had to make the jump. And then as soon as I done that, made millions. Absolutely made millions. Kept it. Bought me, my Lamborghini, my Merc, bought my house, paid off my house, bought a whole huge property portfolio, paid it all off, put it in a trust, can never be touched. It's all over there. Investing in the highest ticket thing that Russell has here, and drop in $225,000 on his next thing. Wrote a best-selling book, New York Times bestseller. Second book just come out, The Superconscious Path. That's doing really well. In this complete, you know what I mean? And it's like fucking hasn't stopped. Whereas before that, my identity kept on holding me back. So there you go. That's your question. Are you willing to let go of who you've been?
I'm ready to let go right now on camera.
Well, then sell it all.
No more funnels.com guy.
You know, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, really. Like you
It is true, because even this morning, my friend, Dan Henry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Dan was in my room ripping apart my marketing for a good 2-3 hours. I'm like, I gotta up my game. And at the end, he picked up my book, which, is published for positioning purposes. It's not published on Amazon for the last 3-4 years or 5 years. And he picks it up and he goes right at the end and he's like, what is this? Wealth Academy. And I'm like, that was my real passion, like the brand I was passionate about. I want to change the world with Wealth Academy. He's like, ditch funnels.com, bro. Use Wealth Academy. He's like, only a bunch of guys in this room know what funnels is. The whole world will know what Wealth Academy.
There you go. And then we're chatting. There you go. That's what you're meant to do.
That is crazy, dude.
And that's the $100 million play, right?
Of course, that's way much more bigger than funnels.com.
Yeah.
And the guy just before us here, he works with the other guy who owns a similar wealthy something company. And I'm like, the other guy is literally doing everything that I've wanted to do. Like multiple wealthy women, wealthy this, wealthy that. And I was like, wow. And I met him just before you.
Whatever we call it, right? Whatever we want to call it, it gives ideas and multiple people get the idea. And if you don't take action on the idea, someone's got to birth it. The telephone was invented in 2 places at the same time, right? Before they had a telephone.
Yeah.
Right? It is called simultaneous invention. It's documented. It's documented. There were 2 telephones invented, the same structure of the phone with everything the same before there was telephone. They had no way they had no communication. They were even different languages. One was in France, one was English. So there's and it's exactly the same.
Wow.
And so ideas are given, and if you don't act, then they go, and that's the scariest thing, because I think the worst thing you can ever do is get to the end of the life and meet the person you're supposed to be and not measure up to him.
Yeah.
Meet who you were supposed to come in this life and go, oh, no, I hang on to funnels.com guy,
Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, we're gonna publish this on YouTube because this is so valuable. Mike, did you record fully the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah. Well, if anyone is watching, if you do publish it, we can give you this recode that I'm talking about. We can give you a free session.
Okay.
So you have to pay the $50 or whatever. I can put a link or something.
I appreciate it, Mikey. Put that in the description.
Yeah.
You have important work to do, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad we connected.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad we connected, dude. I'm glad we connected. I saw you. I was like, pull him out.
Yeah.
Come.
I know that, dude.
Come and let's chat. And every time I come to the events, I always think to myself, 80-20, but you can't do 80-20 here because then there's like 1,000 people I need to be friends with. But I always think, who are the top 3 to 5 people I'll stay in touch with? You're one of them, bro.
I love it.
Yeah, you're one of them for sure.
I agree.
I appreciate your time here, man.
Sweet.
Yeah. Thank you. Guys, check out Chris and his work, Magnetic Mind. We're going to go hang out for a bit now. Anything else you want to add in, Chris?
No.
All right. Appreciate it.
No.